Hi everyone, Danny here with Ground State Tarot, coming to you with a special series of readings to relaunch Ground State on YouTube. And for this series, I will be basing the readings on the 16 personalities from the 16 personalities test, which I will include a link to when I post this video. I decided to go ahead and launch this at the beginning of the Lunar New Year, the Chinese Lunar New Year, which begins on February 17th. And according to the tradition, we are entering the Fire Horse year. And the Fire Horse year carries with it a very interesting energy. And I want to just give you a little snippet that I got online. Okay, so the year of the Fire Horse is a rare, highly energetic, and intense 60-year cycle event in Chinese astrology that symbolizes rapid, often chaotic change, bold action, and transformation. It combines the horse's independent, free-spirited nature with the fire element's passion and volatility, favoring speed, rebellion, and innovation. So I want you to keep that in mind as I give you the breakdown for the energy for INTJ architects specifically with this reading. And I will be breaking this down into 6 categories: your optimal energy, your suboptimal energy, your point of stagnation, the way through, and advice for the assertive types and advice for the turbulent types. So we start off this new cycle with the 10 of Cups being your optimal energy. This is the card of fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, joy, peace, contentment, having everything that you could wish for plus more, and having so much of it that you not only are able to share, but you want to share. It's so much so that you want to make sure that even your pets have the best life possible. It's that kind of energy, right? It's a beautiful energy. It's a made it to the finish line, made it to my dream life, dream house, dream wife, dream whatever dream you have, this is it, right? And it's the fulfillment of that dream. It's a 10, so it's a completion, reaching a threshold that really unlocks the spirit of this image. If you look closely, just the happiness, the grounded happiness that comes through with this card, the appreciation for all things beautiful, pleasurable. That's the goal, right? The suboptimal energy with the Emperor this year tells me that you are building something big, something significant, something that requires a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of strength, a lot of action. It's not the type of project that you can just kind of sit on your laurels. It requires a real participation on your part. But there's also a risk of concentrating too much on this rigidity, this structure, as the only way to achieve this 10 of Cups energy. And that is where you're going to get some tension if you're not conscious of this as it pops up, because we get a clue with our Oracle Anchor card, which is calling out anger. Feel the heat, then turn it down. And if you look at the image of that dog, it's sort of this dog being triggered, their boundaries being crossed, and activating this energy, right? The point of stagnation with the moon, it tells me that you have some trouble trusting your intuition, trusting the mystery of life sometimes even. You really default to needing to control, needing to have a sense of structure again, and a concrete pathway to this 10 of Cups. But this year, it's going to challenge you to look at things in a slightly different way and begin to do the work of not letting your anxieties, your fears, your uncertainties get the best of you to the point where you don't trust yourself, and therefore you clinch even harder to the things that you have or the methods that you're enacting to get to this 10 of Cups. You have to be careful not to get stuck here. With the 5 of Wands as the way through, it's telling me that you need to productively channel this frustration, this anger, this what could become chaotic energy. You need to learn to channel that this year in a way that keeps the structure, but is productive and focused. And there's a goal to using or harnessing, I should say, this fire energy. The 5 of Wands, again, it could be competition, chaos even, anger, conflict. But it can be also an internalized process. And because of this moon right next to it, it's very much telling me that this is indeed going to be an internal process for you that runs the risk of externalizing itself as anger, and that's not what you want. So the way that you really allow yourself to not get tripped up on this energy this year, for my assertive types, you already default to being more aggressive. Your key this year is learning to lean into presence and holding steady, holding your ground without being imposing or domineering or rigid or defensive even. It's again learning to stand your ground, hold your ground, defend the things that you feel you need to defend and step up for, whether it be dreams, whether it's defending your family, whether it's defending a coworker, a friend, an idea, a project, but doing so from a place of presence, again, as opposed to defensiveness. And for my turbulent types, you default to really sort of already staying focused, hyper-focused on the things that, there's a reason why this card is under the moon. You tend to focus on the more trickier aspects of everyday life. There's a little bit of negativity bias that's coming through, but sometimes it's a gift. I don't want to necessarily point that out as intrinsically being something that's bad, but in this case, what it's telling me, the 4 of Cups, is that there's a need for you to become indifferent and apathetic to this rigidity, and indifferent and apathetic to your own fears. And instead, heed the call with this cup being offered to you, despite the disappointment of the 3 previous cups that you've already received. Use your intuition to try to map this into your life. There is another opportunity being offered to you, and this opportunity is to shadow flip the energy of the Emperor from rigidity into sovereignty. There's a difference in the application of power. And shadow flip this moon energy from fear and uncertainty to trusting dreams and intuition and the mystery. And so with the Great Pumpkin, to wrap things up, let's see what this is trying to tell us. While I grab the booklet. There we go. The Great Pumpkin. Again, you're building something big here, and I can see that. I can sense the energy coming through, but try to stay cool, calm, collected through this process, especially with this fire horse energy that is already nudging us toward bold action. The Great Pumpkin. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. A divisive issue for some, but as Linus and Charlie Brown remind us, we cannot be separated by denominational differences. While many seem to not believe in the large mystical pumpkin that rises from the pumpkin patch every year with a sack of toys to deliver to the world's children, Linus simply chalks this up to less publicity. The Great Pumpkin reminds us to stay true to our beliefs no matter what, or no matter who tries to get you down. Quite simply, what can go wrong when a few amazing people have your back? Even if it's just you and the girl who calls you Sweet Babu. There you go. It's about learning to trust the Great Pumpkin. This really means learning to trust your higher power, your higher self, learning to give into that mystery again, right? The mystery of the moon energy. And instead of drowning in the deep waters of those murkier feelings and emotions, it's learning to swim the depths of all of that without getting caught up, without succumbing to triggers and anger, and learning to trust that if you actually loosen the grip a little bit this year, this 10 of Cups energy will absolutely become activated.